Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for attending the last press conference of today. Some notes for you guys. As you know, we're going to have talent standing for 1 minute. Take all your pictures. Then when I kindly ask you guys to move to the back, please move. Make sure you leave some space for the volunteers. Flashes are not allowed. Please make sure you switch your mobiles off. For you media, make sure that you stand up and announce who you work for before asking your question. Just reminding everyone that the press conferences can be seen at bell.ca/movie lover, and they're also available on your smartphone, only on the Bell network. I'd like to very much welcome on stage the director, the producers, the actors of the film Barney's version, and Henri Béard. Guys, that's enough. Guys, that's enough. We'll do that later. Guys. There we go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Please take your seats. Take your seats.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the press conference for Barney's version, which is world premiering this year at the Toronto Film Festival. And I will introduce the people who are here at this table with us today, who are in various capacities linked to the film. I will start with the people behind the camera, and first, and that's rather unusual, with the director, a man whose name is very familiar to the viewers of CSI, among many other television programs, Mr. Richard Lewis. Also behind the camera, a man you've known for almost ever at the Toronto Film Festival. He's one of the pillars of the film festival, producer Robert Lantos. And now brace up for the new generation of Toronto-based producers, Mr. Lantos' son, Ari Lantos, also a producer. As the title of the movie and the book tells us, everything that we see and all the people that we meet, we see and meet through Barney's eyes. It's his version. And I will start with the ladies. As Clara, the first wife, Rachel Lefebvre. As the second wife, only known in the film as the second Mrs. P, Minnie Driver. As the third wife, Rosamund Pike, Miriam. Sitting next to me, also a man you've very often seen here at the Toronto Film Festival, playing Blair, Barney's rival in love, as it were, Mr. Bruce Greenwood. And next to Ari Lantos, the man who plays Boogie, a man that Barney may have murdered or may not, Mr. Scott Speedman. Oh. As Barney, Mr. Paul Giamatti. And there is a whole bunch of people here in the audience that are associated with the film, and I shall ask you, Robert, to do the honors.
my colleague, executive producer of the film, Mark Musselman. Please stand. A magnificent composer who we met through this film, and whose music has elevated all our work, Pasquale Catalano. The guy who kind of solved the riddle and decoded Mordecai Richler's literary devices and turned them into cinematic language, the screenwriter Michael Conivas. Yeah. And now, really, it's our Québécois content. Leading lady of Quebec cinema, Masha Grenon. Yeah. And, well, she's been in other films, in other shows before, but for us, she was a real discovery. She plays Barney's daughter, Kate, Anna Hopkins.
And I guess the first question will go to director and producer. Why did it take so long to bring Mordecai Richler's work to the screen, considering that he had, if I understand what I read in the production notes, he had already written a first draft of the script, hadn't he? Who wants to take it up? Robert, Mr. Lewis?
Robert, you go for this one.
You know, the real reason it took so long is because, well, Mordecai did start working on the script, and then he became ill, he passed away, and he left me holding the bag. And not only is this the magnum opus of a great writer, which carries with it the weight and obligation of trying to preserve its integrity in the translation to film, but it is the, you know, I now had the double burden of honoring his memory. And through the years, as I attempted to find a writer who could impersonate Mordecai Richler's voice and write from his very distinct perspective, and which, every time that a new script would come in, every time I would sort of read, I could hear Mordecai's voice in my ear saying, "It's not good enough. It's not good enough." And he kept saying it, and you know, there was no way that I would have attempted to start making this film until that voice kind of gave it a thumbs up. And I still sometimes hear the voice, and you know, it's starting now to get fainter and fainter. But what it's been saying all along is, you know, I'm watching every move you make, and if you screw this up, we're gonna meet again, and there'll be hell to pay. You know.
First question, Mr. Giamatti, were you familiar with the book? Were you familiar with the character? Had you read the book before? And during production, did you ever, if necessary, refer back to the book for whatever background you might want to get that was not in the script?
I was familiar with it. I had not read it, and I was familiar with him. I read the script first, and so that was what I felt I needed to stick to. But I did read the book sort of lightly because I'm not all that smart, and I didn't want to get it all sort of impressed too deeply in my head, because it is different, and it's inevitably going to be different. But I did refer back to it sometimes to keep myself, to refresh myself with that great voice, that kind of constantly going, really bitter, angry voice that's in the book. And to sometimes look at a scene that was pretty directly taken to sort of see if there was anything in the book that would have been interesting to bring into it. But as I say, you know, I'm not a rocket scientist, so I didn't want to get too caught up in trying in feeling the burden of translating the book, because it was gone. There's a script now, so.
The question could be extended to the other actors, and particularly perhaps to the ladies who play the wives. Did you ever go back to the book just to go, how shall I get that line right if I don't have that background? Mr. Fair, Ms. Pike, whoever wants to start.
Well, I can start. I did all the time, actually, because I think I love having that resource. You know, when you do a film that is an adaptation of the book, you know, you feel like you've got this kind of support there. And, you know, you can, you know, if you're running low on insight, you can go and